Okay, I just want to look at changing the subject of the formula. So say we have y equals mx plus b, and we want to make x the subject. Okay, so there's a bit of a system here. You want to make x the subject, and x is on the right-hand side. So first thing you do is you swap sides. So you go mx plus b equals y. And then you solve. And to solve that, you have to remove the other letters, which are really just represent numbers. They're called pronumerals. So you do what you normally would do for numbers. And you remove them to the other side. But you do the reverse operation. So you do the opposite sign. So when you're looking at this, say you want to get x, I'll just highlight the x. There's the x. So first step is you swap the sides. So let's swap the sides. We've done the mx. We have already swapped the sides, right? So we've got mx plus b equals y. And we want to get rid of the m and the b because we want to get x by itself. So first step, you get rid of the thing furthest away from the x, which is the b. So you go minus b minus b. You have mx. The b's will cancel out. Mx will equal y minus b. And now, looking at that next one then, you want to get rid of now just the m because you want to get the x by itself. So to get rid of the m, because that is times m, you divide by m on both sides. Now when you divide by m, you need to divide the whole thing by m. Now the best way to do division, like if you did a divided by b, you would write it as a over b. If you had a plus c and you divided that by b, then a better way of writing that is a plus c all over b. Because this symbol here, division, is the same as the fraction bar. So the fraction bar means to divide stuff by the number of parts on the bottom. So let's go back to this. So cross out the m's. If you look at that then, you're left with x equals y minus b. Now instead of putting division, we'll put it all over m. And that's making x the subject of the formula. Okay. Okay, so to make r the subject here, first of all, let's swap the sides. So you swap. And then you need to solve. Now when you're solving, there's a few things here that you might notice that we get rid of. We need to get rid of the 4 and the 3. And then we also need to get rid of the pi. And then once we've got rid of the pi, then we also need to get rid of the 2. So we'll do it in that order. So let's just look at this and we'll go to, let's get rid of the 3 first. So if you times both sides by 3, cross the 3 out, you'll end up with 4 pi r, now that should be cubed, 4 pi r cubed equals v times 3 would be 3v. Okay, now the next thing we want to get rid of, you want to get rid of that, the 4 that's there. So if we're going to get rid of the 4, that's times 4, so we divide by 4. Instead of putting a division sign, we're going to do it as a fraction. Okay, so it's going to be, the 4's will go out to get pi r cubed. And then that's going to be 3v over 4. Okay, so what else do we have to get rid of here? We have the pi to get rid of. So trying to get rid of the pi then. That would be times pi, so you need to divide by pi. Now when you're dividing by pi here, it has to go under the fraction bar on the bottom. So the pi's cancel out. So r cubed is 3v, it'll be on 4 pi, because that means it's divided by pi. You could actually have got rid of the 4 and the pi both at once if you wanted to, and just divide it by 4 pi straight out. And then the opposite now to the other thing you got to do is get rid of the 3, the cube. So the opposite to cubing that cube there would be, to get r, would be to cube root. So it's 3v on 4 pi. Okay, so to make y the subject here, we have a little bit of an issue. If we look where the y's are, there's one y there and one y there on the top and the bottom. So we're going to have to somehow collect those y's together. So it's probably a good idea with these to put these in brackets. Okay, now see how that's a division there? So if you move that to the other side, it'll actually become times. So it'll be m times y minus c equals y plus c on the top there. And that's because what you're basically doing here, you want to get rid of that denominator. So if you multiply by y minus c on both sides, then this y minus c will cancel with that y minus c, and then you just end up with m times y minus c. So once you've got that, you expand, so you got my minus mc equals y plus c. And now we've just got to get these, and we're going to collect the like terms together. So we need to get the y's together, and then we need to get the letters together. So you're going to move the y to that side. You're going to get rid of the y, so it's minus y minus y. So you get my minus y minus mc equals just the plus c. And then we still have the mc to get rid of and move those to the other side. So we look at that, we move that to that side. So we're going to get plus mc, cross out. So you get my minus y equals c plus mc. So if you look at this now, we have the y's on one side. So we have the y's on one side, so y and y. So we still haven't got the y's in the same thing. So what we've got to basically do is if you now factorize that, so you factorize the y out, because then it isolates it on its own. So y times what gives you my, y times m, y times what gives you y times 1. So you get c plus mc. Now, the idea here now is we want to get rid of the m minus 1, because the thing that we need to find by itself is the y. So you go divided by m minus 1, and then the m minus 1 will cancel, and then you will be left with just the y. So just without that. So the y will equal c plus mc over m minus 1. And that's the subject changed. Okay, so just going to make t the subject of the formula in this one. So looking at this, the first thing you'll notice is that the t is on the right-hand side. Therefore, you have lots and lots of things to get rid of. So the best thing you can do is to swap the sides. So you go 2 pi r plus t on 2 will equal, oh, wait a minute. That's not t on the left-hand side, that should be a b. Okay, makes a b. So we're trying to find t. T's on the right-hand side, b's on the left-hand side. So that's a b there. Now, what we're actually trying to find here is the t. So just highlight the t so we keep an eye on our price. So all the things we've got to get rid of. We've got to get rid of this 2 pi. And I might get rid of that as 1 unit. Then we're going to get rid of the r. And we've got to get rid of the 2 as well. But our main prize is the t. Okay, so that's our main prize, is the t. I want to get what that is. Okay, so first thing, see how it's times by 2 and pi? It's probably worth just getting rid of both of them and just putting divided by 2 pi. And just remembering that instead of putting divided by 2 pi, it's probably actually easier just to do divided by 2 pi like that. Because if you do it as a fraction, it sits a lot nicer than having the division sign. And then the next step is to cancel the 2 pi's out. So then you're sorted there. Okay, so next step. We have r plus t on 2 equals b on 2 pi. So we've still got our I on our prize. Our prize is our T. So the next thing we've got to get rid of is that R. So to get rid of the R, because it's plus R, we minus R on both sides. They cross out. So then you have T on 2 equals B on 2 pi minus R. And then we only have one more step because there's only one more thing to get rid of. And that would be the 2. So we times this side by 2. Now this is where you've got to be careful. There are 2 terms on the right-hand side. So you can't simply just times one of them by 2. You could put a times 2 like that on the outside and then open the bracket. But it's probably a whole lot easier if you just multiply each of the terms by 2. Like when you're multiplying both sides, you've got to multiply every single term. And a term is separated by that minus sign in the middle there. So there are 2 terms on the right here. There's the B on 2 pi, and then there's the R. And you have to times both of those by 2, as well as timesing the T on 2. Now, just one other thing that I think sometimes people get a bit confused with. When you're multiplying by the 2, you're really multiplying by 2 on 1. So the 2's multiplying the top and the 1's multiplying the bottom. So you're only multiplying the top number, and that R there is R on 1. So these 2's will cancel out, so you're just left with T. That was the whole purpose of it. That 2, that would be 2B on 2 pi. And if you look at that, those 2 2's will cancel out as well. Minus 2R, okay, because they're both on 1 and the 2 and the R are on the top. So then if you're looking at that, then you end up with T equals B on pi minus 2R.